Both yourself, Chair, and Honorable Malema agree with me that as things stand now, we don't have evidence relating to threats leveled against the minister. I think let's pass there, Minister, and go to your directive of the 31st of December 2024. There is an underlined word there that says immediately. And we discussed this thing with...
the word?
Immediately.
Okay.
And we discussed this thing with a lot of witnesses, so as to get what would have been their understanding of immediately. I remember General Spear said, immediately does not mean immediately now. We were left confused, all of us. So you say correctly so that part of what is contained in your directive is the fact that there must be a preliminary report on the 20th of January 2025 from the 31st. So your immediate now means that 20 days. Was that the intention of the immediate? The immediately?
Most of let me just go straight to your question. That immediate has a context, and that context is contained in the letter of directives. There's no way you can make a mistake out of it. It's contextualized. And the words that decisively form the context thereof is the call or the directive inclusive of the directive to bring or to refer that there would be a preliminary report. In fact, it was saying you will bring the preliminary report on the 20th. So that immediate, if you remove preliminary report, you remove it, and you remove what was also part of the directive in the form of the UNESCO, then immediate takes another context. But if you bring in those two, bring in a context that although it was immediate, but there was a meeting that was coming with what? A preliminary report indicating clearly that you were not talking about something to be switched off, and that's the end of the day you go and sleep. There was to be a preliminary report. There was to be a UNESCO report. Then that is the context concretely, without any mistake.
Okay, so indeed that immediate did not mean immediately. Do you agree with me that PKTT is born of the president's interventions to scale down political killings?
Yes, that was a political intervention by the president.
Is it your evidence that given that you found it adequate not to consult the president prior the decision was taken?
I would not agree with you exactly on that, because it was pitched at ministerial level via the interministerial level, which is no longer obtaining in the 7th administration. It was not pitched at presidential level. It was pitched at ministerial level via the interministerial, via the minister who was chairing, but where there was interministerial, and there is no longer any ministerial. Okay. So I won't agree with you.
Okay, let me rephrase my question, Minister. Was President Cyril Ramaphosa informed or briefed or consulted prior the taking of the decision to dissolve the political killings task team?
You swallow a lot of words such that I don't hear.
It might be the mic. I'm saying, let me rephrase it. Was President Cyril Ramaphosa as a person whose intervention are as a result of the PKTT establishment, consulted, informed, or briefed about the intended dissolution prior the decision was taken?
No.
He was not consulted. Okay. The president also established the interministerial committee, which you say in the 7th administration there is no interministerial committee. Maybe if you can brief us, when was it dissolved by the president, who appointed it, when were the closing reports being submitted, so that we better understand that if there were terms of reference, perhaps that guide it not to surpass the 6th administration. Has there been such?
What's the question?
I'm saying the question is, you say the interministerial committee is non-existent in the 7th administration. So I'm saying, did the person who appointed the interministerial committee dissolve the interministerial committee? 2, when were the closing reports of the IMC submitted to the president so as to seal the closing of the IMC? 3, were there terms of reference that say the interministerial committee only exists in the 6th administration?
Yeah, Honorable Nqola, you must not drown my witness with
Okay.
a bombardment of questions. May you please take
One by one, Chair.
your questions one by one.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So apologies, Mcunu.
No, I understand all of it.
Okay, no, that's fine. He says he can take it in that fashion, Chair.
Just saying, go easy. You have time. I mean,
Okay, Chair.
My statement, that is my affidavit, only refers to the 7th administration not having an interministerial committee on the National Political Killings Task Team that was established in 2018 to focus in the main KZN. It doesn't go beyond that to say there was a report, there was closure of the report, and this is the report. It only makes reference that when I got appointed in the 7th administration as Minister of Police, there is no interministerial committee.
Is it the evidence of the minister that only the PKTT was carried over from the 6th administration to the 7th administration, not the IMC? Because the establishment of the PKTT was in the 6th administration as well. So it was carried over to the 7th administration. So are you saying now, Minister, that only the PKTT was carried over to another administration, but not the IMC?
I'm not saying so. That's why I indicate that it worries me to a point where I believe that there's something illegal about PKTT as it stands now, because it was renewed or extended annually up to 2022. So that is the state of my mind as I talk to you. And now that the PKTT was established and got extended annually, and the interministerial doesn't exist in the 7th administration.
Okay. In fact, it was established in the 5th administration, 2018. The 6th administration started in 2019. Then the 7th administration started in 2024. So it was carried over 3 successive terms. Now, that's why we don't understand it when the minister says, then therefore the interministerial committee is non-existent. But it's fine. Let's pass that part. What then becomes the status of the political killings task team now?
currently.
currently?
Well, there's a question that I would rather not respond to because I'm not in office. I'm on leave, as you're aware.
Chair, we have had witnesses who testified differently on the status of the PKTT in respect of the letter written by the minister. Because the reason we're talking about the state now, status of the PKTT, is the 20th of January, where a report was supposed to have been submitted. 2 months later, when you were taken to leave, are you saying you are unable to tell this committee that the status of the PKTT now is this and that? Because the evidence by General Mkhwanazi is that the PKTT is alive and kicking. The evidence by General Masemola is that the PKTT is alive and kicking. The evidence by Sibiya is that the PKTT is operating illegally somewhere in a corner.
Yeah, Sibia is also General.
General Sibiya, yes, sorry, Chair. The evidence from General Sibiya is that PKTT has got a very questionable status now. And all these testimonies, Minister, come from the letter authored by you on the 31st of December. So we thought it is important that we get an information to ask from the author of the letter what then becomes the status of the PKTT now, because we are receiving contradicting statements about it.
I understand. I wrote the directives. The directives were responded to by the National Commissioner in the main, proposing or suggesting that it should be on the winding up, it should be on a phased approach. And it details that phased approach in a number of platforms, including on the 5th, including on the 6th. And then the process of winding out is then underway. While it is under discussion, as would have been intended by the preliminary report and the report at UNESCO, then there's a press briefing on the 6th, and then there's a commission as we speak. So what is there at the moment?
I can't see the witness. You can proceed with them.
What is there at the moment in terms of my response to you is that there is a process of a discussion which has not been completed while PKTT continues to operate.
Okay, that answer is quite satisfying.